Hi, this is Jentry Kelley, and this video is to show you how to apply foundation, concealer, and powder. I've already put 5 stripes of foundation on my skin so far, and I'm going to show you today how to match your foundation at home. If you have a foundation already and if you're unsure if it matches, what you want to do is you want to swipe right against your jawline. The color from here to here should be of the same shade. Sometimes your face is a little bit lighter or darker than the rest of your body, so when you're matching a foundation, you want to make sure your neck, chest, and arms is going to be the same shade. So of these 5 shades here, the first one, which is called Cotton, which is really intended for a fair skin tone, is definitely too light for me. See how it's a bit chalky compared to my chest. The second shade is a little muddy, that's Whispering Rose. The middle shade is Vanilla, which happens to be the most common shade. This shade right here blends perfectly with my neck and chest. Sandy Beige is a little bit too dark, that's actually my summer color, and the last one is Light Toffee. So I'm going to go with Vanilla. So I'm going to use a little bit of a makeup wipe just to remove any foundation that I've applied so far. And what you want to do is you want to apply the foundation. This is my foundation here. It's called Mineral Liquid Powder to Foundation. You want to apply that with the foundation brush. Any synthetic hair brush will work. I prefer this over a sponge because you don't waste your foundation that absorbs into the sponge, and I've never been a fan of using my fingers to apply foundation. So I always start with using the back of my hand. I apply anywhere between a grape and a lima bean size. Apply it onto the back of the brush, and I start here towards the center of my face, and I kind of blend outwards. The center of our face is where we need the most amount of coverage and we have the most amount of redness. So we want to start here and just kind of pull it towards the hairline and jawline. If the foundation is the correct shade, you shouldn't have to blend too much. If you notice as I'm applying the foundation, I'm not applying it on the eyelid or underneath the eye. I'm skipping the whole eye socket area and going around it. I do like to kind of buff it in my hairline a little bit because my scalp is a little bit lighter just to blend the color. So after I've swiped the foundation to get that even veil of color, the next step is to twist to fill in. I have smaller pores, but a lot of redness, so I don't do a whole lot of twisting. I just go back, which is step 3, and I tap to add. But if you do have pores, like what we call orange peel pores, around the nose and the chin, you would twist to fill in at this point. Like I said, I have to skip that whole step and I just go straight to the tapping. So right here where I have a lot of sun damage, you can see how it just kind of disappears. And this foundation is actually oil-free, so it's made for all skin types, and it does have a luminous finish. It's hard to find an oil-free foundation that's also luminous. But this one's great to give you that glow, and there's a difference between looking oily and having a glow. Having a glow just makes you look more youthful and minimizes lines and wrinkles. So after I have the foundation applied, I then go to the concealer. So now my foundation is on, most of my coverage is already taken care of. You always want to do concealer after foundation. My concealer comes in a stick like this, and it can be applied over blemishes and underneath the eyes. So I grab a little off the stick and I have a little blemish right here. I'm just going to pat that on, and then I use my fingers just to texturize it. Underneath the eyes, I take it all the way up against the nose and bring it outwards like this, like a half moon shape. Then I go back with the concealer brush almost up towards the eyebrows and then kind of sweep it outwards towards the end of the brow. After you've applied the concealer, you always want to take your finger and tap it in like this to make it look like skin. Never rub or tug because that loosens the skin around the eye area. You always want to tap. And I just kind of blend that out into the foundation. So you can see the difference from one eye to the next. On this side, you no longer see that blue-green vein right here. It's definitely lifted and gotten rid of that darkness. So again, I just kind of dab the concealer like a half moon shape. Concealer blending up towards the nose and right up against the lash line. We all have a natural downturn on our eye right here. So by lifting it up like I'm doing now, it makes the entire eye scoop upwards towards the end. So once you have the coverage from the foundation and the concealer, you can use your face powder. I use a pressed mineral powder. It's more of a medium coverage with SPF 15. I don't like to get a lot of coverage out of my powder because it starts to look cakey and it settles in the fine lines around the mouth and on the forehead. So you've got two options of brushes. There's the Kabuki brush, which means no handle, or the brush with a handle. It's just kind of a personal preference. The heads are about the same. I just prefer the one without a handle because it's easier to buff into the hairs on your face. We all have hair on our face, so by taking the powder and putting it on with the puff that it comes with, you're only setting it on top. By taking it like this, you just kind of buff it into the skin, and it gets between the hairs on the face. It just gives a more flawless finish. So with this powder, you're still going to have a glow to your skin. It's not going to look completely matte, and you don't feel it or see it. The color that I'm using right now is called Soft Rose. I do have a little bit of pink to my skin, so I like to use a powder that doesn't have too much yellow undertone. And that finishes the foundation, concealer, and powder step.